All right, let's dive into today's news from the Faroe Islands. We've got a few sources to pull from
Yeah.
Faroe and
Yeah.
Nagaso
Uh-huh.
and VP.fo.
Nice.
So think of this as like catching up with a friend from the islands.
Right.
What's the latest buzz?
Exactly.
So first up, politics. Even though it happened, well, pretty far away, the death of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter is stirring up some talk.
Interesting.
Yeah. A source in the Kremlin suggested that Russia should strengthen ties with the Faroe Islands
Whoa.
if, the U.S. were to try and acquire Greenland.
I see.
No official word from the Faroe Islands or Denmark on that yet, though.
Makes sense. Still early.
And another political tidbit, it seems Putin didn't send a New Year's greeting to the Faroe Islands this year.
Oh.
Yeah, unlike some other world leaders, so take from that what you will.
Food for thought.
Now, for accidents and incidents, there was a car fire
Oh, no.
near a tunnel entrance on Streymoy.
I hope everyone's okay.
Yeah, thankfully no injuries reported.
That's good to hear.
And sadly, a plane crash in South Korea
Oh, wow.
resulted in the deaths of 177 people.
That's terrible.
Yeah, one of the sources actually interviewed Linda Vest Nicholson.
Okay.
She's originally from the Faroe Islands,
Right.
but lives in South Korea now
I see.
to get her reaction to the tragedy.
Of course.
Switching gears to the economy and industry, Job Match 2024 is happening right now in the Faroe Islands.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Big deal. The Prime Minister even gave the opening address.
Wow, so it's a priority for them.
Definitely seems like it.
For sure.
And speaking of jobs, big changes might be coming to the fishing industry.
How so?
It sounds like foreign workers are expected to be phased out by 2032.
2032, that's a while off, but still a big change.
Yeah, and it's causing some worry about labor shortages.
Understandably.
The CEO of JFK, that's a fishing company,
Right.
has been pretty vocal about wanting the fishing industry to have the same conditions as the aquaculture industry.
Interesting.
What that means in practice, though, who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
But on a brighter note, sales of electric cars are getting close to half of all new car sales in the Faroe Islands.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty big shift.
For sure.
Okay, let's move to sports.
All right. Love some sports news.
Kirkil Vehe
Okay.
has been appointed as the national team coach for, get this, both cycling and triathlon.
Wow, 2 for 1.
And, hold on, there's more. The Faroe Islands are going to be hosting the European Darts Championship in 2026.
No way. Didn't see that one coming.
Right. Not exactly the first thing you think of.
Definitely not, but that's going to be huge for them.
Absolutely. All right, before we move on, quick weather check.
Always important.
Landsverk, the Faroes Road Authority, is putting out warnings about possible icy conditions.
Oh, gotta be careful.
Yeah, and VP.fo is predicting, cold temperatures and low winds for the start of the week.
Sounds about right.
Then it gets a bit more, unpredictable later on.
Classic Faroe Islands weather, then.
Pretty much. Now, there were a few other things that caught my eye. KVF highlighted this podcast called Vitliki.
What's that about?
It focuses on mental health in the Faroe Islands.
Oh, that's great.
And PF Faroe and Pelagic, they're a fishing company,
Okay.
have gotten a building permit to expand what they're doing in Turori.
Good for them.
And lastly, the Hjálparfólkafélagið, that's a Faroes Aid organization,
I see.
is giving its members 6 months of free membership.
Wow, that's very generous of them.
Right. Quite a mix of news today. Everything from, global events impacting the islands
Yeah, for sure.
to those smaller local updates.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, it really shows how much the Faroe Islands are part of, both the local and the global.
It's true. So out of all that, what jumped out at you?
Well, that Kremlin source suggesting closer ties between Russia and the Faroe Islands in response to, any U.S. moves on Greenland, that's definitely got me thinking.
This is interesting.
And, no New Year's greeting from Putin either makes you wonder what's going on there.
Right. What does it all mean?
Exactly.
I was also really struck by that plane crash story, the one in South Korea.
Yeah, that was awful.
And that interview with Linda Vest Nicholson.
Right.
It just hits home that even though the Faroes can feel so remote, they are still connected to the rest of the world
Oh, absolutely.
in all these ways.
Definitely.
How about you? Anything else grab your attention?
Let me think.
Yeah, take your time.
I'm really curious to see how the fishing industry is going to handle that phasing out of foreign workers by 2032.
Me too. That's a huge change.
Yeah, could have a big impact on their whole economy,
Exactly. And will they be able to find enough workers just from the Faroe Islands?
Or will they have to, like, look for other solutions?
It's a tough one. Lots of factors to consider.
For sure.
I'm also fascinated by how popular electric cars are becoming there.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Like, it's a global trend moving towards sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Faroe Islands, with their infrastructure and energy production, you know,
Right, unique challenges. Makes you think about how they'll adapt.
it does. All right, let's talk sports for a minute.
Okay, sounds good.
What are your thoughts on Torkil Vehe, the new coach for cycling and triathlon?
Hmm. Well, I'm interested to see how he builds up those teams,
Yeah.
what kind of impact he has on those sports in the Faroe Islands.
And then there's that European Darts Championship in 2026.
That's right.
Still can't believe they're hosting that.
I know, such a big event for them.
Could really put them on the map for a whole new crowd.
And bring in some tourism money, too.
Definitely. I wonder how they'll handle the venues, though.
Yeah, good point.
They'll need to make some adjustments, I'd imagine.
Probably.
Okay, back to those other news items. I thought it was great that KVF highlighted that podcast, Vitliki.
Oh, the one about mental health.
Yeah, mental health is so important.
Absolutely.
It's good to see it being talked about openly, especially in a place like the Faroe Islands.
For sure. It can be a tough topic to address sometimes.
And that expansion of PF Varin Pelagic's operations in Faroe, that's a positive sign for the economy.
It is. Shows businesses are investing in the Faroe Islands.
Exactly, like they see potential there.
And that there's room for growth.
Absolutely. And the Yolbar Folkafagi giving their members 6 months of free membership.
Yeah, that was really something.
Just a really kind gesture, especially now with so much uncertainty in the world.
Yeah, very true.
It speaks to that strong sense of community they have there.
Definitely a defining characteristic of the Faroe Islands.
When you look at all this news together, it's clear that the Faroe Islands are dealing with a very specific set of challenges and opportunities.
It's true. They're kind of like figuring out how to be part of the modern world while holding on to what makes them unique.
Yeah, finding that balance.
Exactly. Should be interesting to see where they go from here.
Definitely. And speaking of things to watch out for, those icy roads.
Oh, yeah. People will need to be careful out there.
Always a good reminder in the Faroes, no matter the season.
For sure. For sure.
So there you have it, your Faroe Islands news roundup, all in one place.
We covered a lot today, huh?
We did, from politics and those accidents.
Right. And the economy.
Sports, weather, even some, like, feel-good stories.
A little bit of everything.
If you want to dig deeper into any of this,
Always a good idea.
the sources we use were Kringvarp Faroe, in.fo, and vp.fo.
Great resources for all things Faroe Islands.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into, well, a pretty fascinating part of the world.
Always a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive, a whole new topic.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.